You know, people say there are a lot of superhero movies out there. Some might say too many. But when you look at this year, we got Kingsman, we got Spy, we got Mission Impossible, we have Spectre coming out in November, and we have The Man from U.N.C.L.E. So, with 5 movies, this is definitely the year of the spy. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is directed by Guy Ritchie, stars Henry Cavill, Armie Hammer, Hugh Grant, and Alicia Vikander, and is based on the 1964 TV show of the same name. So in the movie, we have Henry Cavill, who plays an agent for the CIA, who was basically blacklisted into the CIA because he was once a criminal. And then we have Armie Hammer, who plays a Russian agent. And this is during the Cold War, so the two sides are butting heads with each other and don't like each other. But the two of them have to reluctantly work together to stop an organization that supposedly is dealing nuclear warheads. And along the way, they're joined by this woman, this German mechanic, who is played by Alicia Vikander, who possibly has some connection with this organization, that link being her father. So basically, you have these 3 people traveling all over Europe trying to save the world from nuclear doom. Now, honestly, I had no idea that this was based off a TV show, and the story behind it is, it was a TV show that was made in 1964 in the wake of the James Bond movies. It was the same year Goldfinger came out. So it was pretty much America's answer to, you know what, we love James Bond, let's create our own James Bond style and make it about the Cold War, and that's where The Man from U.N.C.L.E. came in. So here we have Guy Ritchie directing it, who, as I said, did Sherlock Holmes, but, I mean, the trailers for this looked good, but I wasn't a big fan of the second Sherlock Holmes movie, Game of Shadows. And outside of that, there was the fact that Armie Hammer has been in some stinkers lately, like The Lone Ranger, and his cameo in Entourage was stupid. And then Henry Cavill, who's the new Superman, he's really not had much exposure, and he hasn't had much to prove to show that he could do a really good job. So there are all of these, I don't want to say red flags, but yellow lights, let's just say that. These yellow lights that made me go in with a little bit of hesitation. But I guess that's probably the best thing to happen, because The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was surprisingly good. I mean, it's not really fantastic. I think in terms of spy movies this year, Kingsman and Spy are better movies, even though the latter is a comedy. But this still does really get the job done. And what I like about this movie are a couple things. One, I like the idea that it's set in the 60s. I mean, that's what the show was set in. It makes sense for this to be set in the 60s, especially since the show, its basis was in the Cold War. So having a movie based on the show set in modern times would have been bizarre. I mean, it would have been the same thing they did with Mission Impossible, where the show was set when it came out, but they modernized the movie series. And I'm glad with this they didn't decide to have it set in modern times, because you get that really sexy Sean Connery Bond era feel to it. It also is backed up by a really good script, I think, and the performances from your leads. Henry Cavill is actually really good in this movie. His accent is a little bizarre because he's actually British, not American. It just seems a little too... there are points where you just seem to try a little too hard to be very suave and a little too American Bond, but I still think he did a good job. Armie Hammer is good also. He has a slightly cartoonish, but I think effective Russian accent. And I like the rivalry these two have with each other. It really leads to some great banter and arguments. And this girl, Alicia Vikander, I know she was in Ex Machina, which I haven't seen, but I want to see. She's really good in the movie also. And there's a little, as the movie progresses, there are some things with her that I think pay off really well. But I don't think the movie's perfect, though. There are a few things that bugged me. There were a few attempts at humor that didn't work. Like, there's a scene where they're having a slideshow, where they're showing Armie Hammer's character a slideshow on Henry Cavill's character and what he's up against at the beginning of the movie. And one of the slides is upside down. And because I was so, like, wrapped up in what was going on, I didn't even pay attention. And one of the Russian guys says, "Why is that slide upside down?" They flip it over, and I'm like, I think that was supposed to be a joke, but it didn't work. Nobody was laughing in the movie. I think it just kind of caught people off guard. But I don't know. There are a few humorous moments that don't work, but then there are some really good moments that are funny, I think. And also at the beginning of the movie, there's this point where Armie Hammer's character, they hint that he's possibly superhuman, like he was part of some superhuman experiment. Again, this is from someone who's never seen the original show, because he's like running after a car, he tears a bumper off, and you're like, holy crap, this guy's almost like a Terminator. Are they gonna elaborate on this? Are they gonna reveal that he's actually superhuman? Nope, not really. They don't elaborate on anything, which was a bit disappointing. I thought there was going to be some build-up. But there is something with his character that is established, and then at the end of the movie gets a nice payoff. In the end, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was a big surprise. I mean, okay, Spy was a big surprise because I expected it to be horrible. This is just a simple surprise. There were a few moments where I was hesitant, but in the end, I really liked it. So I'm going to say it's a movie that's good. It's not great, though. But if you are a fan of the older Bond movies, I think you'll really dig this. And that's my review for The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and that's my review for The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Leave a comment and tell me what you thought of the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Like, subscribe, share me with your friends. And this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one.